All right, it's on.
Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to the Because I Feel Like It pod. Swerve. I got my brother
Yes, sir.
Black, and we just hear free agency started a couple days ago, and like everybody is in a panic. And I just need y'all to know that like it's not as bad as it seems. It's really not as bad as it seems. But again, I'm Swerve. I'm here with Black. We're gonna talk about everything that's happening. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen the picture for the pod today, and I just really want to address some things because I feel like I'm gonna go on a rant, and I'm gonna go on a rant. But I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. First, if you're here, I appreciate your support. If you're here for the first time, hit the like, hit the subscribe because we not gonna stop. Like we not gonna stop doing this. We're not gonna stop bringing y'all content. And this is what we do. Like we do it because we love the game. We love the Eagles.
Yeah.
Like so, this is something that's gonna happen weekly. You're gonna get it 52 times a year at the minimum.
Yeah.
Uh, but we're here tonight. We're here to discuss free agency and other things. But this one is to me, it's like Eagles fans are in a panic, and I need y'all to calm down and I need y'all to relax, right?
Yeah.
But Black, happy to be here again on our Thursday and our weekly Thursday meetings. I'm happy to be here. How are you feeling today, sir?
It's been a long week. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things going on. Not just Eagles, but just worldwide. But I feel good about where the Eagles are currently at right now, man. I'm not gonna beat them over the head. There's some things that kind of throw you off, but you got to understand where this team is now. And I think it's been far time for folks to start understanding who the Eagles are now. Now that they have a champ, now that they have two Super Bowls, they aren't just a team you can say, and just not pay attention to them. They're at the top of the league right now, and it's
Yeah,
gonna it's gonna take some unpopular moves to be made for them to get one to play the younger guys, right? And then two, understanding that guys are going to get paid off winning the Super Bowl, right? You know what I'm saying? And some people are going to leave, and some people didn't want CJ to leave, some people didn't want Slay to leave, but it is what it is. It's a part of the business. You know what I mean? And in order to stay ahead of everyone else, sometimes you have to make decisions that aren't popular with everyone. So understand, man. But right now I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident in the team itself and Howie. So it is what it is, man.
yeah. I look at it like this. Like if you look at every team that's won a Super Bowl in the free agency era, they lose a player or two the following year, right?
Yep.
So if you even like if we go back and I don't even feel like talking about the Cowboys, but what was the safety? Darren Woodson?
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren Woodson left the Cowboys. When we went to the Super Bowl and lost 2 years ago, we lost both the coordinators. Um, CJ left to Detroit.
Hargrave left.
Um, Hargraves went to San Fran.
TJ.
PJ went to Chicago.
Who was
So
it?
it's like
Yeah.
it's a gift and a curse because if your team is good enough to go to the Super Bowl, that means you have players that can actually play in this league. And you have coaches that can actually coach in this league. So of course the teams see that and they pilfer. They still, whatever you want to call it, they and it's common. Like this isn't the first time, but I'm so sick. Like you know what I really hate? I hate uh fans who haven't been Eagles fans as long as us. Like we've been lifelong Eagles fans.
Yeah.
Like we
And it's
suffered
something.
through
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
Norman Brayman era, the Rich Kotite, the Ray Rhodes, like, and then we got lucky because as adults, like as adults, we've had the Andy Reid era, and from Andy Reid, we went to Chip Kelly, which for as much shit as we give Chip, Chip wasn't that bad. It was just when he started wilding out the ESP with Elliott Short. Yeah, Elliott's a dickbag. Like even Chip wasn't that bad because the Chip Kelly's first game we demolished Washington.
Right.
Like and if Alex Hall doesn't miss some kicks against the Saints, and then Darren Sproles runs that kick return back to whatever to like so we've like since Laurie took over the team, we've actually been blessed as fans, like,
Yeah.
and we've been competitive. So we had the Rich Kotite, Ray Rhodes, then Laurie takes over, and we get Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson, Sirianni, right?
Right.
We've had 25 and 2025.
Yeah.
I've been an adult. I've had way more winning seasons than I have losing seasons as an adult. I've had more seasons like feeling like, hey, this team is actually really good. This team can compete.
Right.
Like, because a lot of times in the NFL, we see it with the Giants twice. Sometimes all you got to do is make the playoffs and things fall in line.
You never know. That's true.
You never know. And honestly, despite being like a Philadelphia fan and knowing how Philadelphia sports are, and no matter how much we've suffered through as Philadelphia fans, I think as a Philadelphia fan, we all have that optimism. Like, yo, if we can make the playoffs,
We can do something.
you never know, something can happen. Like,
Right.
and we waited on our turn to make the playoffs, and something happened. And I think like I go back to we've never had one of those. Remember the Knicks with Allen Houston and Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby and what was that like '99 where they were
Mhm.
like an AC and they went on to play the Spurs in the finals and they lost to the Spurs in the finals, but it was like, bro, it happened. Or we seen it with Eli. Eli barely making the playoffs and then beating the Packers on the road in the coldest game ever, then going to San Fran and then beating Tom Brady. Like we've never had that moment. We never had that moment as like a Philadelphia sports fan, like especially Eagles fan. Like the Eagles never had that moment, right? So in 2017, we look like the best team in the league.
Yeah.
Then Wentz gets hurt, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's typical Philadelphia shit. Like this is what happens to us." And then 27, and then if you look at that first half against the Falcons, it was just like, "Oh man, here we go again." Like here we go again. But they pulled it out in 2017, and
I think
I know this is
Yeah, because I was thinking like the biggest thing, like, you got people understand, like, with the process of winning, it's a continuous process, right? They've been successful for the last 25 years. You know, we've had a lot of good times, more than bad times, and we have to understand, as Philadelphia Eagles fans, just sticking to the Philadelphia Eagles fans, we have to get. I don't know how they're going to do it, but we have to get out of this mind state of just everything is just doomed. Everything is just failure, bro.
Yeah,
I understand we have two Super Bowls in the last 8 years, right?
8 years. We've been in three.
Been in
We
three.
played for three
Yeah,
Super Bowls in the last 8 years.
yeah. So
And it's like, bro,
give them, give
like,
them. You have to give them the grace at this point. Start acting like winners. Act like you've been to the end zone. We've been there twice. We've
yeah,
won twice. You have to act like you've been there now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I'm saying that, man. Like, man, I'm sorry to cut in, but I'm just like, I feel it. Like, I'm just tired of just the whole thing. Just like everything is just doom and gloom. Dude, they've won two Super Bowls in the last 8 years. They've been
8 years.
three times in the last 8 years. Give yourself some grace. Give them some time to put this back together again.
Yes. Yeah, that's,
You want to run it back. As much as you want to run it back, it is financially impossible
yeah,
because people want to get paid. You
yeah,
know, and then they have to understand, as a team, that's because some people want to get paid, their attitudes may not be the same as it was the year they won the Super Bowl. So at that point, you have to, as if you're taking the taking your mentality to the forefront, understanding who you might have to let them go a year early because you can't pay them.
yeah,
That might have to happen. You know what I mean? So at that point, you got to get to that, and you understand, like, okay, this is what I got to do. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I have to let a
And,
CJ go early, right? Even
and
though
you
we love
you
him,
just
even though we love CJ, CJ might have to go early, and it might not be anything. CJ might not have said anything, and people. I think some people are like, well, he said this about Slay, or this was the case. I don't even think any of that played into that. I think
no, Slay ain't here no more. Why was an argument with a guy who ain't here no more? It's strictly like like I look back at all the good teams that have, like, you look at the Patriots,
right.
you look at the Patriots run, and like everybody says that Brady run is I look at it as two different dynasties. Like, they were a dynasty, but I look at that as two different runs because there was such a gap in between.
Yeah, it was 11-year gap.
Yeah, but the first one, it was like they were built on defense,
Yeah,
and they had a guy who nobody knew, Tom Brady, and they won. But then once they realized who Tom Brady was, it was like, oh, we can let some of you older dudes go and play some younger guys, because at the end of the day, I feel like 12 is going to make up for the lack of, or we're going to have a team that's built to we're going to cover certain deficiencies where everything in Philadelphia as a sports fan is doom and gloom because we're so used to not being on top. But like you said, this is their third appearance in the last 8 years. And
right.
it's the second win in the last 8 years, and it's the second appearance in 3 years.
It's just a part of the game, man. You know what I mean? Like, either
Learn
you
to be winners.
yeah, learn how to be winners. You're gonna get on board, or you're gonna stay doom and gloom. But either way, those who are not gloom and doom are not going to stay in that doom and gloom space. So if you want to stay over there, I
I'm
respect
not.
you.
You
You're
know,
still an Eagles fan, But
Yeah,
I'm not
but
going to.
you're.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep it moving.
I don't want to hear about your negative. Like, you know what's crazy? It's like we won a Super Bowl, and I'm cool. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm cool. I'm not talking. Like I said. I said a month ago. Once they won, I don't care about the Sixers. I don't care about the Flyers. I don't care about the Phillies. Like, I'm not going to set myself up for disappointment.
right.
I'm not setting myself up for disappointment. I'm not going to allow y'all to suck me back into that doom and gloom. Like, the Dodgers are the favorites. The Dodgers do this. Yeah. Congratulations, LA. Go win another World Series. I don't even care about baseball. Congratulations, Boston. I hope OKC wins, but congratulations, Boston. Whatever. Congratulations, whatever hockey team is gonna. Bruh, I'm focused on the draft. I'm focused on the Eagles. Like, I don't care. Simply because I'm not gonna allow myself to get pulled back into the
Negative.
doom and gloom and the negativity. So you let go of CJ Gardner, Josh Sweat signs, Milton Williams signs, Isaiah Rodgers leaves. Cool. Isaiah Rodgers and Slade leave. We've literally watched Ringo wait his time for 2 years.
But is he
I
ready?
believe I believe Ringo. If Howie believes Ringo is ready, Vic believes Ringo is ready because I will say for what the Steelers got Slade for, if the Eagles didn't feel Ringo was ready, they would have offered Slade that.
You saw that they signed the Eagles signed Jackson from or Dory Jackson
Dory Jackson.
from the Giants, but I'm like, because he even up there, he ain't really show nothing.
No,
I know he can return punts. I know he can do that, but I ain't really seen him really do anything as a starting quarterback when he had the opportunity to be so. You know what I'm saying?
he's a rotational piece.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm still trying to figure out, and that's part of what the theme of the show is. Who's going to be back there? You know,
I believe that when they signed him, when I seen they signed him, I was like, yeah, that's Ringo's competition. I think Adore shown flashes. Adore has shown flashes. Even when he was in Tennessee, he's shown flashes. And he wasn't great in New York, but he wasn't like horrible. He wasn't Taylor Wood, Cam Britt. He wasn't that bad. Like but he Adore maybe Vic believes in this system. But I think the guy we gotta watch out, I think we're gonna sign Justin Simmons.
as you talking about the safety,
Yeah.
yeah, but
So I
you know,
think you sign Justin Simmons. Um, Chase Brown and Taylor are the bodies we have here, and you sign Justin Simmons. He's a vet. He was a Pro Bowler and All Pro in the system in Denver, and
right,
he's 31 years old. He don't want a lot of money. He wants to just compete right now.
right. I'm just
So you sign a Justin Simmons.
go ahead.
You bring in the Dory Jackson. At worst, Dory Jackson has played outside. He might not be the best guy outside, right?
Right.
But you have Q,
Mm-hmm.
who had an amazing rookie year. So you have a shutdown corner, right?
Right.
You have a guy who's the shutdown corner. I mean, even when Slade was really good, what did they do? They went and got Steve Nelson, who wasn't the best guy,
Yeah.
but he was serviceable as a CB too.
And you said
Serviceable as you find somebody serviceable, and and if you believe in Ringo, you just even if we like from the coach's perspective, if I'm like Black, Ringo is a CB too. Like, this guy's the starter. You don't want him to know he's the starter. You still want him to feel like he got to earn that job in camp.
true.
So
True.
you bring in Adoree Jackson to compete. And even if Sidney Brown or Taylor, what's the other safety? I keep calling him Taylor, but even
Uh,
if you feel like one of those guys can come in and compete for the job, even if you feel like one of those guys is going to win the job, you don't want them to rest in like, oh, I know I'm the guy. No, you want them to go out there and prove that they're the guy.
yeah, but the other part about it is, and I just saw this. I just saw this probably last night or this morning. I was looking. The Eagles are going to have something tells me that,
20 picks
yeah, they got 20
in
picks
the
over the
next few years.
next 2 years, right? So some of those picks they ain't going to be able to use, right? So some of them is going to get packaged up for somebody, or to push further down in the lane, But people, I think overall, just in this defensive backfield, I think they're still gonna go out and try this summer to get it, because we got time, man. They got 6 months, right? I think there's gonna be another trade out there, and there's still a couple other folks out there. Then you got the draft, so I think they're gonna do something, man. But I don't like you said, I don't like the panic. Even though
No, no panic.
I don't totally agree with it, but I understand it
I
because
don't
it's
agree with it, but I also was looking at like Starks is there, another Georgia boy is there. He's the best safety in the draft. So I feel like if Starks is there, if Starks is there at 20 something, like mid 20s, I feel like Starks is a guy you go grab. Like they trade up and grab Starks. You got two really good safeties. You have in college, you had Starks and you had the kid Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. They
right.
both have low first, early second round grades. So I feel like if Starks or Xavier Watts are around the end of the first round, early second round, you draft one of them. This again, then you have the kids from you got the kids from Texas A&M that I've been talking about as edge rushers, outside linebackers, edge guys, and the kid James Pierce from Tennessee who ran 4.56 or 4.46 at 250 pounds and 6'5". Like so, I feel like you can let a Sweat go. You can trade a Gardner Johnson because you can find guys who you can develop and 2 years from now they're going to be contributors. Like Jalen Helix played amazing in the playoffs, and he's a rookie. So if you got Helix,
You talking about
uh,
you talking about Hunt?
no, yeah, Hunt and Jalen Hunt. I'm sorry,
Yeah, you good. You
you,
good.
you got Hunt, you got Smith. Um, you find that you get a vet. Like they're going to bring in a vet to take snaps. Like they're going to bring in. I said Helix. What's wrong with me? You got Hunt and you got Smith.
They got Uche from Josh Uche from he was
Yeah,
with
that's
the
what I was saying.
Patriots. He was
Uche from the
with
Patriots, who
yeah,
had 12 sacks in 2022, playing
right.
on the opposite of Judon. Right, you got Uche. So then you get you draft Scruton from Texas A&M, or you know, or Pierce in the second round. You bring in somebody like I'm just gonna let them. I'm gonna let them figure it out because it makes sense to me. But I've been saying this. I've been saying this for a while, and everybody was like, I said the Eagles have to decide, and the Eagles made the decision. Like when they re-signed Smith and Brown, and they re-signed Saquon, I was like, the plan is to load up on the offense, and then we're going to have a young defense.
Right.
And then by the time our young defense comes around, it's going to flip flop. So right now, I look at it like this: we got a top five quarterback in the league. We have a top five running back in the league.
Yep.
We have a top five receiver tandem in the league. We have the best offensive line in the league, and you got a top five tight end, right?
Right.
Offensively, we're heavy. Defensively, we overachieved this year. But we can go back and we can find the clip where I said if the defense played at a top 15 level, if the defense was in the top 15, it's a strong chance we make the Super Bowl. Not only did the defense overachieve, they played lights out. And in playing lights out, so we found some guys in the clearance bin. We found ball. New Orleans didn't realize what they had in Zach.
Nope.
You got Coop in the second round, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Reed is an undrafted free agent. Reed is an undrafted free agent. And Jacoby, before his injury, was playing lights out.
Yep.
So the defense that you needed to be top 15 showed up and was top 3. With an offense that had slow starts for the first 8 weeks. So we gonna load up on offense.
And we're gonna go young on defense.
And we're gonna go young on defense.
Yeah.
And if you grab a Malik Starks or a Nick Scruton or a James Pierce, those guys are going to be forced to play early. But it ain't even pressure. Like, bro, just finish top 10. If we get a top 10 defense with the same offense, and the guy you got in return for CJ Gardner-Johnson isn't a bum. He was a 5-star kid coming out of high school. He was all SEC tackle in college.
Yep.
He's 6'4". They moved him to guard. They moved him to guard. He was rated. He had a horrible rating, but I think that's just some of that is coaching. Some of that is coaching. Like, everybody's not as physically dominant as Becton, but Becton was physical and dominant, and he sucked at tackle. He came here, and Tyler Steen isn't bad. I think if the season started today, Tyler Steen would be the starting guard. But this kid Green is coming in to push Tyler Steen, and whoever shows that they're the better guy after camp is going to be that guard. Also, what was Nate Herbert? He left us a few years ago for money, and then he tore his tricep, and then
it might have been Ciamalo, might have been, but I don't remember.
No. But there's another guy out there that he went to the Steelers. The Steelers released him because he's. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up now. No, it was a white dude. I know who Ciamalo is.
I don't know that. I don't know right off the top of my head.
Hold on, I'm about to. I gotta think of his name.
But yeah, I mean, it's to a point where, like, you got to go young, and at that point, it is what it is, man. You just got to keep pushing. And
yeah. Oh, what's this guy's name?
Yeah, we'll get to it.
He played guard for us. Yeah, Nate Herbert. He was 67 when he was here.
Right.
Nate Herbert. He left. He's with the Steelers now, but I think the Steelers are going to cut him. And he had, what's crazy is when he was here, he graded out at like an 88. in the games he played. Everywhere else, he's been like a 58 and a 60. So I think you can get him back for cheap to strengthen the line depth. But I'm not panicking. There's no need to panic. Like, I swear to you, like, Eagles fans are toxic.
I mean, it ain't all of them. It's just a group. It's a group that they just because it ain't all. Like I said, it's a group of them that they just can't get out of their way. In regards to it's not 1996, it's not 97, it's 2025, and they just understand the way you don't want to be the Dallas Cowboys right now. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at this as it's just the cost to be the boss is what it is right now. And if you're going to and you have to keep moving forward, you have to keep putting pieces together because you understand again. You don't think that Jalen is not going to get paid again? You know what I'm saying? You got to pay. You got to pay. You got to pay Jalen Carter. You got to pay Jalen Hurts probably sometime down the line. You know, you got Nolan Smith. You got to pay eventually. You got Reese Blankenship. You got to pay. Right. Eventually, you're gonna have to play. You're gonna have to pay Q. You're gonna have to pay Cooper Dejean. You got a group of guys that you are going to have to pay. So, what do you think is going to happen when you got to pay those guys? You think everybody going to be here?
Yeah.
It is what it is, man. But so the one thing that I was, I'm still trying to wait for the second shoe to drop. Is what's going to go on with Dallas Goedert, man? Because
I think this.
Go ahead.
He'll be going He'll be going within the next week. I think. Man. I do. You know why?
Yeah.
I think this. The Eagles I feel like this. His replacement is in Oakland. Or I keep saying Oakland. His replacement is in Vegas.
Right, but it just got one from Vegas.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Brock Bowers showed up this year after the Raiders drafted a tight end. The Raiders have drafted tight end high the last 2 years, right?
Right.
So you drafted the kid 2 years ago, and he was filling it. His rookie year, he was filling the NFL out, and then you turn around the following year and you draft Brock Bowers, who,
right. But
in my eyes, Daniels was the rookie of the year, but Brock Bowers had a strong case. Eagles are going to trade for the guy in Vegas.
Yeah, but that don't really, because they just went and got Harrison Bryant. So why not get him? You ain't gonna trade for two tight ends from the same spot.
The reason is this: the Raiders, the kid is a first round talent.
Right.
He's under contract for the next 2 years for $3 million, 3.5.
Right.
Cal Caterra can't be your tight end one.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get this guy for, let's say you get him the next he makes $4 million over the next 2 years. And let's say he comes here and he has a decent season. You can probably get him for 3 years after that for way cheaper than you would have to pay a good tight end. Like Evan Ingram signed. I would have liked to have been in the Evan Ingram market because I think Evan Ingram isn't as good as a blocker as Goedert, but I think passing wise, Evan Ingram offers a lot of options. And then like T.J. Warren, T.J. Warren's great. He's not going to be around at 32. There's like 3 or 4 tight ends. You got Love, whatever name, Colton Love, whatever
Love,
from Michigan.
love
He's
yeah,
there.
I'm talking about.
You got the kid. It's a kid from Bowling Green that's there. The kid from Texas is there. So
Yeah.
I think like the thought process is Goddard has 1 year left
Mm-hmm.
at like 13 million, and he's missed 5 games the last 2 seasons. Like you can replace Goddard's production for
Yeah.
the money you paying him is not worth the production. There's teams that need a safety valve. Let's think of all the teams that just sign quarterbacks that need a safety valve. Seattle signed Darnold.
Right.
When everything goes wrong, you need to dump it down to your tight end. New York just signed Justin Fields. When everything's going wrong for the quarterback, you need a safety valve. Dump it down to your tight end.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? There's teams that need a tight end. You can get a third, fourth round pick for Goddard and flip that into you can get a tight end. The reason they signed him is because you need it. If you're moving on from Goddard, you need someone who can contribute immediately. You need a veteran, but at the same time, you go get a youngin in the draft and say in the year, just the same way they did with Ertz and God.
Yeah,
Same
but
way they did with Ertz and God.
yeah, but I mean, I get that. I get it. But at some point, man, I'm just like, okay, is you've already, you know, I'm playing two sides of the coin, right? If I'm looking at it from this standpoint, is there a real need to let him go right now? You can still, if that's the case, you can let him play this year out, and then still get a compensatory because this is his next year is this year coming up is his last year, right?
Yeah, but
So
it's
just
13 million.
yeah, I mean, you ain't really hurting now anyway for the money.
But what if you could flip that 13 million into all right, let me ask you a question. And this is just me being the general manager on Madden. What if I told you, what if I said, we can get a fourth for Goddard
Mm-hmm.
and save 8 million this year, 7, 8 million this year. So and then you go get Cooper Cup.
Yeah, but you can get him right now.
No, that's what I'm saying. But you won't have to pay him. Or what if I told you this? If you could trade Goddard,
Right.
and you could get Justin Simmons and Cooper Cup, would you do it?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Or if you could trade Goddard, and the return for trading Goddard would be locking up Becton for 3 years, and you either get Simmons or Cup. Would you do that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So you have to look at your assets and if you look at things, I think a guard is more valuable than a tight end.
True. True.
I think a guard is more valuable than a tight end. Um, because the game's won in the trenches. If you know what, and I'm going to just talk about basketball for 2 minutes, less than that. But Philadelphia teams, the Eagles, when everybody was playing and drafting cornerbacks and drafting wideouts, the Eagles were drafting defensive tackles and offensive linemen, and everybody was like, "What are they doing?" Right?
Right.
So now the Eagles have built their team off the line.
Right.
Like the big Eagles have built their team from the trenches out. Everybody else was trying to find the nickel back instead of drafting that guard that you like. Everybody was trying to find that third slot wide receiver that's going to create a mismatch instead of drafting that defensive tackle.
Yep.
The Eagles said, "We're drafting the defensive tackle. We're drafting the guard here."
Mm-hmm.
Does that are GMs looking at that and changing way? Like I said, the reason the Eagles were as successful as they were is that the league wasn't built to defend them because the Eagles played big and everybody else comes out and they play nickel 60% of the time. And when your base is basically nickel, like most teams play nickel as a base.
Yep.
The Eagles, oh, we're gonna shred you nickel. Because even if they come out in 3 wide, their linemen get ready to do whatever they want to do to you. So, and that's what I remember a few years ago. I said that if the Sixers win a championship with Embiid playing big basketball, maybe the league will revert back to trying to find bigs who can post up and dominate the paint. It hasn't happened, but I feel like when the Eagles signed Saquon with that offensive line, and they came out and they played 12 a little more than what the league was used to seeing, or they came out and they literally ran the ball. I think the Eagles ran the ball 60% of the time this year.
Yep.
Which and it's only one other team that ran the ball more than 50% of the time, and that was the Baltimore Ravens. So like the Eagles have a formula, and I think their formula is going to allow them to be successful for the next 2 years because you're not going to catch up to that in just a year. It's going to take the league a year or two to catch up to what the Eagles are doing.
True.
And that's why I'm okay, because we've literally seen this team win a game in every fashion last year. You want to shoot out? We can go score. We can go score for score. They lost the game. They lost the game with Washington, going score for score. But that's because Jalen got hurt.
Hurt. Yeah, he got hurt.
You understand? We can play in the mud. They beat New Orleans early before they figured out who they was in a game where it was a dogfight, and Goddard had a hell of a game, and he had 100 and whatever yards, and then Saquon reeled off one, but the defense stepped up and shut it down.
Yep.
So we can play that we can play that game. We can have an off game and still win. They showed that against Cleveland.
Yep.
We can get up early and take our foot off the pedal against Jacksonville. We can get. They did that too. We can shove the ball down your throat. Pause. You seen that in LA the first game when they went out LA on a Sunday night, and they said we gotta run the ball. We gotta hand Saquon the ball 35 times because y'all can't stop the run. Right. Then they played the best rush defense in the league in Pittsburgh, and they said, we got a quarterback who we're comfortable with throwing the ball, and we got 2 good receivers, and we got a tight end where our quarterback can drop back 25, 30 times and throw for 300. Like, yo, what are y'all trying to do? Like, this team literally has won a game. However, you say 17 teams said, this is how we going to make you beat us.
Yep.
And 14 of those 17 times, the team that said this is what we gonna do, this is what we gonna make y'all do, walked away mad. And honestly, 15 because they could have beat they should have beat that raggedy ass team in DC. If they would have smoked that raggedy ass team in DC if Jalen Hurts didn't get hurt.
Yep.
So 15, that's 15. Then against Tampa, Saquon did what Saquon does, but we didn't have Smith or AJ Brown.
Yeah.
So that game really like if you give me a healthy Smith and a healthy Brown versus Tampa, they dirt them dudes, right?
Yep.
Then we got a Monday night game. We got a Monday night game where Saquon dropped the winning pass.
Yeah.
This team, like, so if Saquon catch that ball, they beat Atlanta, right?
Yeah, but it don't matter because it's still it's either here or there. They still gave up that game, but
no. But I'm just saying, I'm like reflecting on the season.
Yeah.
Saquon catches that ball. They beat Atlanta.
Right.
Jalen Hurts don't get hurt in DC. They beat the Commanders.
Right.
Now you're looking at we're 16-1. The only off game they had was in Tampa, where Jalen didn't have AJ Brown or Smith, and they still were competitive after they woke up. They made it. They almost made it a one-score game if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble. They was driving down to make it a one-score game and had the momentum if Jalen Hurts don't fumble. And I believe, and I'm great, I don't talk hypotheticals often, but if you got Brown and Smith, they beat Tampa by 15. Home on the road, they beat Tampa by 15. So realistically, this team could have been, you take one play from Saquon dropping the ball, one play from Hurts getting hurt, and then 15 minutes. The Eagles are 15 minutes and 2 plays from being 17-0 and winning the Super Bowl.
Yep.
It might be a stretch, but this is what I'm looking at. Like, so you lose Sweat, you lose Williams. You lose CJ. You bring back Zach Bond though. N'Kobe's going to be. We need to find a linebacker. But guess what? When we lost to Sam Reddick, everybody was like, "Who's going to step up and do what we need? And who's going to replace Reddick?" Guess who did it? Sweat. I didn't hear nothing about Hassan Reddick this year. You heard anybody missing Hassan Reddick? No.
Nope.
Nope. Because Sweat, next man up. Number 97. I was watching film on him. Ajomo, I call him 97 because I mispronounced his name. Dude, what he doesn't show up in the box, but he has pressured the quarterback so many times last season. He got them off their spot. He forced them to throw early. If he has to be DT3 this year and we have to develop a guy, I'm fine with that. Like, the panic is disgusting and it's actually overwhelming. I need y'all to relax. You have Coop, you have Q, you bought back Vaughn, you got Breadman, you got Jordan Davis, you got Nolan Smith. those kids are hungry. Those kids are all proven players. Like, and go get Starks. If Starks is there in the 20s, if Starks falls and he's there in the 20s, go grab him. Or if you feel like you might. I feel like Xavier Watt is a top 32 player eligible. If Xavier Watt is there at 32, he might be the 36th ranked player on the board.
Yeah.
But if he's there at 32 and he feels the need, grab him. Because if both the edge rushers from A&M are gone and the kid from Tennessee who has character issues, but I don't think Pierce, I don't want to believe it because I believe you're going to come in and be a really, really good outside linebacker defensive end. But if Pierce is there at 32, or if Watt is there and he's the 36th ranked player and you're drafting at 32, and he feels the need, get him.
Yeah. So
He's going to have to.
yeah. So we're gonna obviously they went and got AJ Dillon the backup, Saquon, and then they got what's his name behind them.
Shipley.
Shipley got Shipley behind them, yeah. So that's one good thing I can see they did. Dillon's more of, I think he's going more of the guy that's he's going to take a lot of the carries off of Saquon. That what he's doing is allowing Shipley to be the one that they pass to out the backfield. Be back there on some downs. So I think that's a good thing. I don't know where you right now, man. We're pretty much in a holding pattern to see where they go. You know what I mean? Because they've been quiet. Even the things they've done lately, we didn't know they was doing them. There was no real pulse on what they were going to do. They just been picking and grabbing. You know what I'm saying? Almost like they going to a swap meet. They show up, grab somebody, go right back in, don't hear nothing else from them. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting. As far as the rest of the division, I'm not really concerned about what they've done. They still, I think both of the teams, all three of the teams behind the Eagles are at least two years away.
Yeah. Like you can get Tunsil, you can get Debo. Like, I don't care what you do offensively. They didn't address anything, and I'm speaking to Washington. You let Allen go.
Yeah.
Pain is pain. So you let Allen go. You didn't bring anyone else in.
That was stupid.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there because Saquon had a field day all three times. Actually, all three times. Because even after Jalen got hurt, Saquon broke one for 60 plus yards. The first game on Thursday night, he sealed the game. He sealed the game on Thursday night. Came back and played y'all in DC, and Hurts got hurt, but he was having a great game. And then he broke one for 60. And then in the NFC Championship, his first touch, he pretty much told y'all what it was. And y'all let go of Jonathan Allen.
Yep.
I think Minnesota has made the most moves with signing Allen and then Rodgers. So I'm looking at it. I'm not going to discredit any other team in the NFC. You know what I am? I don't care. Even with the losses, I want to see how the draft plays out. Because I think, like, secondary-wise, if the Eagles can figure out a way to get Simmons, you know who else? I'm looking at names out there. Rasul Douglas. I bring Rasul Douglas back.
I'm tired. Nope. Nope.
No,
I'm
you know
trying to
why?
go against that one. I don't want him back. Nah.
I do.
Keep
I
you
want a
gotta
big
keep
I
on
want a
that
big corner.
pass. Yeah.
No, but I want a big corner to compete with Ringo.
You can get one of them in the draft, right?
Yeah, no, we're gonna draft one.
Yeah.
But I just feel like if I'm looking at the names still available, I would kick the tires on Douglas just because he's played well. I've watched him. He's a big physical corner, and I feel like this system would fit him well. So if you get Simmons, you get Simmons, and you get me a vet at corner, and then you draft. I don't like a lot of corners, especially where the Eagles are drafting. I don't like the corner. We got 32, 64, 96. I want Starks or Watt with one of those, or Scruton for one of those first three picks, like for the first round. But I'm thinking the Eagles either are going to, if the Eagles don't trade up by 25, 26, they're going to trade back at 32.
Yeah.
Because if they don't trade up, that means Scruton, I'm pronouncing that means both of the kids from A&M are gone, and that means Starks is going from Georgia. So I don't know. I'm just excited. Like I'm not upset. You know, last time they won the Super Bowl, I told you I wasn't going to complain about nothing for the three years, and I'm pretty sure I was cool. So they get a 3 year grace period from me. I mean, I'm still going to come in here and talk real, but that me talking real isn't me complaining or being upset or turning the TV off when I'm watching the game. Like they got a window, and I'm believing. I've been saying, you know, if you look at all the Super Bowl teams in this era, like they're really really good on one side of the ball, and they're really really young on the other side, and that other side just happens to play big when it matters.
Right. Yeah.
Look at the Colts. Even if you go back to Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Randy Wayne, what was number 44? What was the tight end?
Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark. Yeah, Dallas Clark. Them boys was loaded. Them boys was loaded on offense. And then they drafted. The only defensive player that was getting money was what was my man Dwight Freeney.
Yep.
They hit the draft. They hit with Bob Sanders. They hit with the bull from Temple Mathis. Then they bought it. They hit with what was my man? They hit with a couple guards. The bull from Rutgers bracket. They hit with these kids in the draft. They found players in the draft. And then once it was time for them to get paid, it was like, oh, y'all gonna get paid somewhere else.
Yeah.
Gary Baggett. So, you know, building like the Colts was competitive for years.
Yep. So
Belichick was competitive. Like we good. Everybody just needs to relax.
yep, that's the theme, y'all. Everybody relax, man. I mean, it's going the season don't start, next week. It starts the first week of September. So just sit back and relax. Everything will be all right. We got time. We got the draft coming. We got pretty short. There's gonna be a lot of other free agents coming and going. So we'll be all right. But
We gonna be good. We gonna be all right. Kendrick Lamar was. Aaron Rodgers told you a few years ago. RELAS.
I don't like Aaron.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. He said the best. Like relax. Like
Yeah,
we good.
yeah. So man, we're gonna be back at it next Thursday, same time. Um, for my socials, you know what I'm saying? You can follow me on Blue Sky, Marcus Blackstock at bluesky.com. You can find me on Instagram the same way. You can find me on TikTok on the same way. You can find me on Facebook the same way, man. I'm everywhere the same name. Ain't nothing changed. Tell the people where they can find you, man.
Swerve Griffin on Facebook. the Black Jason Kelsey on Twitter. I think my Instagram is I identify as skinny. I got a blue sky as the Black Jason Kelsey too. And you know what? I might get a TikTok. I'm gonna set up my TikTok, and my TikTok is probably gonna be something obnoxious. Y'all can find us here. I thank y'all for the love and support. I wish everybody a good weekend. Happy St. Patty's Day. And go Birds.
Yes, sir. We out. Later.